What a night of football. What an incredible night of football. It was very very strange, and it will probably something that would potentially never happen in that way. And I'm talking about the Manchester City and Spurs game. I have never seen a game that had so many contrasting postures, so many contrasting views. How can a team want one thing, the fans want something else? Completely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think that, let's put, all the rivalry aside. I feel really sorry, for the club, for the players, for the manager. I mean, how does your team? I mean, we talk about booing, in the stadium, and everyone says that fans are entitled to boo and things like that. And if you're booing your team, and you're at the stadium, that's always very difficult to take. Listen, football is a performance sport. Let's be clear, right? And if you look at every other type of performance, you need someone to be cheering you on. There is no great movie without people going to go watch it in the cinemas. Movies don't become block office hits without people going watching them. You go to the theater, and if you're performing and there's no one there, the performance doesn't have that extra thing in there. If you go and watch a boxing match and there is no fans on the ringside, people are not screaming and shouting, it doesn't usually bring out the best in the fighters. That is no different in football. 60,000 people at a stadium hoping that their team actually loses. It's very, very strange. Very strange. I understand when it has nothing to do with an actual game. You're having conversations, you're having banter, you don't want other team to be successful, but to actually go into the stadium, pay a ticket, and sit there and actually hope that your team loses is something that I would never comprehend. Never, never comprehend. And all of those fans should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves to start singing and clapping and shouting after the team was down 2-0. I mean, how do you expect those players to feel next season? There are players that are going to be thinking to themselves, what am I doing here? Right? What's the point, right? What's the point if you're there to perform, for the fans, and the fans don't actually appreciate that? And one of the things that Mikel Arteta said, when he came to Arsenal, was about repairing the connection between the fans and the players and the club. Tottenham's got a long, long way to go next season. Ange's got a very, very big job on his hand. Got a big job on his hand. But let's talk about the game. Manchester City, were nervous in that game. And it really shows you that, when you look at games in context, pressure is a real thing. And pressure can do, different things to different players. And sometimes you just need to hang in there, which is exactly what Manchester City did. They just hung in there, knowing that throughout 90 minutes, one mistake would happen. And when the mistake happens, someone has to be ready to punish. And this is why you have a striker like Haaland. They don't win that game without Haaland. They don't. Because there's no one who's going to be running into where Haaland ran to score that first goal. And the first goal was everything. They needed that first goal in order to just at least push them in the right direction. Spurs played their part. Now, as an Arsenal fan, I watched that game, and, I was thinking to myself, listen, you can't ask any more of this team. Spurs did all they could do, and Son, come on, Son. You had to put that in. Now, that was the moment. That was the moment when Son could have actually equalized for Spurs. And I think if he had scored that goal, I think Spurs would have nicked a draw. They would have nicked a draw. And who knows? Listen, mathematically, it's not over in the Premier League. But you know, and I know that it is. And that's why, because Man City, they don't blink at home. But stranger things have happened. Now, Spurs fans were jubilating, disgraceful scenes. I'm hearing fans, talking about that the manager doesn't get it, and all of that. It's all about fans' rivalry and all of. Listen, the team is there to be successful, and you might not understand how significant an event can be for a team, for a club. Everyone talks about that Aguero goal against QPR. That set Manchester City on their way. And now they're about to win 4 straight titles. That's 6 out of 7 titles. That's ridiculous. And all because Aguero put that in. Changed the trajectory of the football. I mean, everyone remembers, Wheeler's Gallas, sitting down, on the pitch. That set Arsenal on a decline. It's like the level of mediocrity, steamed through that club for a very, very long time. Now, only time will tell what this moment means for the Spurs fans. But we're going to have to see what that is. Can they dig themselves out of this? Because it's a complete mess. Now, what would happen? Imagine this, Spurs fans. Just imagine this. Imagine that you gave up a chance to go into the Champions League and then City lose or draw against West Ham. So all of that was in vain. So you lost an opportunity to go into the Champions League and Arsenal still wins the league. How would that make you feel? Got to think about that. Listen, it's my quick reaction, from the Manchester City game and the Spurs game. Let's go to that game. Let's do what we need to do as Arsenal fans. Let's cheer on the team. Even if, it doesn't go the way that we want, let's win the game against Everton and see what happens. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember, like and subscribe. Drop in your comments. What do you think? Do you think that Spurs fans were right to do what they did? Do you agree with the manager that the mentality is wrong? 3 managers have talked about the mentality of the club. Is there something behind that? Let me know in your comments, and I'll see you in the next one.